I did all my own stunts, and then we got to do fight training, fight choreography, and it was a blast on set.
Cue the 2000s nostalgia. It's time to focus on the new film, We Can Be Heroes, that happens in the same universe as the OG superheroes, Sharkboy and Lavagirl.
It's them.
The filmmakers brought this franchise into the 2020s with their magical CGI skills, but we want to know how the movie would actually look stripped of its visual effects.
Let's boogie.
Every kid wonders how it feels to be as big as a grown-up, but actor Leon Daniels got to experience it firsthand thanks to the special effects in We Can Be Heroes. His character Noodles has to use his stretching abilities to make himself taller and blend in with the rest of the adults. It looked so real on screen, but filmmaker Robert Rodriguez says it was all done with an oversized jacket that slid over his head, an expanding balloon on his chest, and lots of sound effects.
Simple $2 trick.
While the kid heroes are training for the battle, they get to fight this cool-looking digital villain that kind of reminds us of Katniss's time in the Capitol's training center. But the actors actually had to pretend that it was a hologram. While filming the scene, it was really a stuntman dressed in a green screen suit. They added in all the effects later on. If you're wondering if all the kids did the majority of their stunts themselves, the answer is yes.
Calm down, dear.
We caught a glimpse of how powerful Guppy was while she was fighting the digital monster. She is the daughter of Sharkboy and Lavagirl after all. So how did they really bring her super strength powers to life? If we take a look at these clips, you'll see it involved a lot of different cuts, stuntmen remembering choreography, and wires. And just like that, the actress Vivian Blair turned into a superhuman. A very adorable superhuman.
Have a nice nap.
This might have been one of the coolest scenes in the whole movie. On their mission, the kids have to climb up a few flights of floating human stairs. Yep, human stairs. Casual. There was a lot put into this scene to make it come to life. The people you see floating were actually laying down on platforms that were edited out later on, and the kids were attached to wires to keep them stable. Another tidbit is that there were only 3 kids climbing at a time, and in some instances, the kids were repeated as they got towards the top. Their hair color was just changed digitally later on to make them look like the other characters. It was all an illusion.
It's about so many layers to make everything work.
Before Captain Marvel, we had Lavagirl, and while actress Taylor Dooley is iconic, there were still some things she needed help with behind the scenes to make her character truly come to life. Flying plays a huge role in her character, and they accomplished this by having her wear a harness and controlling her with strings. And that epic scene where she blasts from the volcano, that was done using not only a harness, but a man in a green screen suit moving her and keeping her still.
And moments later, Lavagirl blasted up from inside an active volcano.
Noodles Powers might just be our favorite. We saw a glimpse of how they brought them to the screen earlier with him transforming into an adult, but what other techniques did they use? Well, Noodles actor Leon had to really amp up his acting skills and act like his arm or head was extending. They would then cut the scene and film the other, connecting the two in the editing room. There's a reason they call it movie magic.
That's why I love making these kinds of films.
One of the main battle scenes is against the aliens. So how did they make the aliens' interactions with the heroes so real? If you can take a look at this comparison, you'll see that the aliens' arms were actually wires attaching themselves to the actors, who were pretending there was an actual alien in front of them. Then, of course, the visual effects made everything that more real. Another part of the alien battle that got pretty heated was when Blinding Fast was using his super speed to confuse the aliens. In the end, it didn't go over well, but the special effects were still cool. They had his actor attached to someone in a green screen suit who was guiding him in circles. They sped it up in the editing room and got a pretty impressive result.
This is unbelievable.
We saw the gist of how Noodles Powers work behind the scenes earlier, but how did they shoot this scene of Facemaker flying? Well, it was actually done in 3 different takes. The first was Noodle hitting the blue ball, the second was of Facemaker being pulled back while attached to a harness, and the third was of Facemaker swinging from the rope. That's what we would call very smooth transitions. Red Lightning Fury and Crimson Legend also had a major encounter with the aliens. The scene of them being pulled through a door by the aliens was so dramatic. We loved every second of it. But while filming, the alien arms were just people in green screen suits pulling them back. And the bricks? They were fake and probably made of something lightweight like styrofoam.
Ladies first?
I don't need to date a shrivel like
I'll go.
One of the closing scenes, the parents reuniting with their children, has to be the most heartwarming scene. Can we take a moment to talk about how adorable Guppy and Sharkboy were? But it was also demanding for the editing team. And that's because there are so many heroes using their powers at once. Take a look at what the behind the scenes of this moment looked like.
I'm so very proud of you.
There's a point in the movie when Capella uses her powers to make a room full of chairs float, and one of her fellow heroes climbs up on one. It's actually pretty cool. But if we strip away all the movie magic, it's just a room full of people in green suits holding up chairs, even the chair with the hero on it.
Welcome to a training ground.
Before the hero's kids took on the aliens, of course, they had to practice on a training ground, just like the reuniting scene. This moment was full of different powers happening at once. Basically, the kids went through acting the scene as if they had actual powers. Then their powers were added in later on. This is just an ode to how good these little actors are.
Okay, Nita, your turn. What? I'm not ready.
We mentioned that the kids did a lot of their own stunts throughout the film, and we thought this one was pretty impressive. There's a scene during battle when Wheels lifts himself out of his wheelchair and does a handstand on Noodles' outstretched arm. In order to perfect this scene, they had to do 2 different takes in order to get Wheels lifted by his feet onto a bar that would later become Noodles' arm.
He's a miracle.
Ever wonder how a movie character becomes a toaster in the blink of an eye? You're about to find out. Basically, Heat Vision acted really hard and pretended he was using his powers to turn into a toaster. Then the director called cut, and someone placed a toaster in his place. Action! Heat Vision's now a toaster.
I love being a toaster, you know, I mean, you help people in the morning.
We saw how they brought Capella's powers to life when she was using them on chairs, but what about when she's making herself float? Well, like Lavagirl, it required a lot of string and grace from the actress. That gave off the perfect ending of her floating.
We can be heroes just for one day.
What did you think of this behind-the-scenes look? Will you be able to watch the movie the same after witnessing how it looked before it took a trip to the editing room? We Can Be Heroes definitely has some impressive CGI and special effects going for it, not to mention some unique techniques we haven't even seen done before. Tell us all your thoughts below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a hero-worthy thumbs up. We'll see you in another video.